Greg immediately has the best background with the Mona Lisa.
What you talking about?
Cultured.
You see my light switch?
I've got Dr. J. I don't think they have Dr. J in the Louvre.
For the dimmer, man.
$5 a month Samsung app.
Well worth every penny. Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
So we've got our first guest of the season on Basketball Friends, the one and only Greg Gurley, who I have said for a long time has, behind Bill Self, the second best job in Lawrence. But Bill Self's probably allowed to grow a beard. I've never seen Bill Self grow a beard in season. You're sporting the beard this year, so I may bump you up. It may be Greg Gurley 1, Bill Self 2 in terms of most desirable jobs in Lawrence.
I have 2 jobs, by the way. So I have 2 very desirable jobs. Bill does his beard every once in a while in the summertime, but it doesn't look anything like this. This is amazing.
And you're humble to boot.
You're humble. Yes. Yes.
Greg, a lot of the conversation has been about Ochai leading the nation in scoring. I've been really pleasantly, I don't know if surprised is the right word, but impressed with the depth and namely some of the young guys. What has been your sort of early impression of some of these new faces?
In June, July, and August, when I watched some of these guys practice, I thought they were all good. I didn't know where they really fit because of our depth, and they've come in and played well beyond their years. I think you watch Bobby Pettiford make, mature moves, like draw a defense, dish off, doesn't just take wild shots. They're not making like freshman mistakes. Small sample size, only 3 games. I get it. Bobby's been great. Zach is just like an instant offense when he comes in. Does not seem to be bothered by anything, whether it be Madison Square Garden or then not really playing in the game against Tarleton and then coming out against Stony Brook and getting some real minutes and producing again. So I think KJ in his limited time has come in there and made some impactful plays as well. So not knowing where they fit and now seeing where they kind of fit, that's been the most impressive part for me.
They get Jalen back in Orlando, and that's obviously a pretty big piece and a pretty big piece of last year's team. Should those guys be worried? The guys that rotation, how it's been. I mean, did they need to worry or what?
Subconsciously and privately, they're probably worried because it's just going to go down the line. There's only so many minutes. Somebody's going to not get as many minutes. Right. He is a starter. He's our second or third best player, depending on, how you rank him with Ochai. And then, when Remy gets back to his original self, he's been kind of banged up a little bit. It's got some back issues, but I was just talking this morning about Jalen, and not that I wasn't a fan of his game last year. He was good and he won a lot of games for us early. Guys started to kind of figure him out. And then, at the end of the year, he kind of struggled, kind of reinvented himself this summer, I guess, changed his body, became so much more athletic, faster with the ball. He's always had a nose for the ball. So we've missed his rebounding the first 3 games. I think Jalen's going to have a massive year. I really like how he's changed. All these guys are going to get more open looks with the better. When Ochai's playing this good, they're going to start double teaming him. So somebody else is going to get shots. Putting Jalen Wilson out there, which will push some guys down the line. Is that Christian? Is that DeJuan? Is it Joseph? That pie is going to get smaller. So it's going to be a competitive team. It's going to be a competitive practice. Next man up mentality. If you ain't getting it done, there's 1 or 2 guys on the bench that can.
It's not meant as a knock on Marcus, but I felt like because he wasn't a true point guard, it kind of felt like fitting a square peg into a round hole. And other guys, it seemed like were sort of doing the same things, having to take on roles that maybe weren't their natural strength. And now that you do have DeJuan Harris, who's sort of becoming that guy, and Remy Martin, who can be an initiator offensively, you're seeing guys like Ochai have the best brought out of them. Do you think that's going to be similar for Jalen?
Yeah, because, last year, like you said, it was out of necessity. Marcus Garrett had to be a point guard. It was unfair to Marcus. His senior year, it sucks. There wasn't another guy. There wasn't a Remy Martin. There was a DeJuan, and DeJuan was just kind of figuring out how he was going to play, and he had some really nice moments. But DeJuan's matured. So you go from forcing Marcus Garrett to be a point guard, so really having no point guards, to having 3. And then you open up more and more lanes for Ochai and Jalen and CB. And so we went from a team that wasn't a consistent shooting team. We didn't get to the basket that great. Jalen was kind of our one guy that got to the basket. And after guys started figuring him out, he wasn't as efficient at the rim, going up against bigger, more athletic guys. So now we got consistent shooting. We got great point guard play. The one thing, which I'm sure you're going to ask about, is what is our paint presence? And right now, it's somewhat of a mystery. The first 3 games haven't been great for David, and he needs to turn the corner quick. Bill Self offenses need post play, and right now we're just not getting that consistently.
When you look at Ochai, so many of his points have been coming inside. Like, he's scoring so much more at the rim. He's being so much more aggressive driving the ball. I know, like, philosophically, Bill wants to get those post ups. He's going to want to get Dave touches inside. Like, I know that's not going to go away, but how much does Ochai's newfound ability to score inside sort of mitigate some of the concerns you might have about other ways of manufacturing inside touches?
Well, it's a different kind of scoring on the inside. I mean, it's different than Doak or Landon or whoever underneath getting post moves. These are working off your 3-man motion out top and getting to the basket. And those lanes will get cut down as you start to not play Stony Brook and Tarleton. We need a post presence, not necessarily for scoring, but to flatten the defense out. When you throw the ball into the paint, everybody goes like this. And then a good big man will evaluate, pitch it out, make a move, do whatever. And right now we're just not getting that. The other thing, I think you're going to see some times, obviously we go 5 guards, and with Jalen being the 5. Yes, Jalen will have to guard their 5, let's say, but their 5 has to guard Jalen. And if they decide to go to zone, we got 5 options out on the perimeter. So I don't think Bill's going to be scared to play 5 guards.
I don't know what game it was, but I was on Twitter and a couple of people threw these things at me when we were doing our thing praising Ochai. One person said Ochai reminds me of Paul Pierce. Another person said Ochai reminds me of Brandon Rush. Do you take door A, door B, or mystery door C on that one, Greg?
Oh boy, those are 2 interesting comparisons. I don't really see the Paul Pierce other than his ability to score. Paul was amazing at, when things broke down, being able to figure it out. And back in that day, shot clock, he'd forget the play, get it to Paul with 10 on the clock, he'd figure it out.
Well, Brandon Rush was not bad. Like, when I read that, my first thought was, Brandon's way better, right? But
it's a good comparison because that team in 08 had a bunch of guys, just like this team has a bunch of guys. I really do believe he's a completely different player this year than he was last year. I think he shortened up his motion. He gets it. He's much quicker with his release. And then he's just being aggressive.
He's being aggressive in terms of attacking, but it's not like he's, give me the ball, I'm going to go get mine. I mean, he's still Ochai. He's still that teammate first, jersey name on the front first, all that, and not hunting shots. I mean, he's just the same dude, just has an edge now.
The next step in his maturation is going to be when teams go after him. Like, he's not going to get these free looks forever. Guys watch film and they're saying, hey, we'd much rather leave DeJuan Harris open. Okay, fine. Oach has got to find DeJuan. He's got to find Jalen. He's got to find CB, and they got to make him pay. We need to be in a pick your poison offense. When teams are playing us defensively, they're going to say, all right, we're not letting Ochai drive to the basket. We're going to double team him. We're going to play a box and one, whatever we're going to do. That means other guys got to beat you, and that's when a very, very deep team prevails because we got options. If you only have one guy, if I'm hitting Barry Bonds is going to get walked every time, right?
I can't remember the last time where KU had a guy at that position playing like this. The great point guards with Devon and Devontae and Frank before that. Josh Jackson's the most recent one I can think of, but he was playing next to Frank Mason, who was the National Player of the Year. And then you've got the big guys. Like, I just don't remember the last time KU's sort of alpha leader, number 1 option scoring was this wing who now all of a sudden is showcasing the ability to put the ball on the deck and get his own.
Which we thought was going to be Wiggs, and not taking anything away from his freshman year, but he did it in spots. Now, again, this is a very small sample size. We're talking about 3 games, and we need to have this conversation come back on next Monday night after we get back from Orlando, and then we'd really have something. If he's the he's the most outstanding player in the Orlando Classic, all right, then we can really start talking. And this is taking nothing away from Ochai. He has done nothing wrong. It's all going to be what other teams do to him and how does he react.
Seeing as how KU looks like a legit championship contender, seeing as how you're growing out the beard for the first time, at least in my time knowing you, would you be willing to commit to an NHL playoff beard sort of situation where you don't shave it until KU loses?
Ooh, okay. I mean, yeah. Find me someone who's willing to pay more than, $20. Yeah. I don't think there's going to be a lot of businesses beating down your door on my beard.
Why does it have to be about the money? Why can't it just be about...
Because that's what NIL is. I don't know if you know how this deal works.
I didn't know you were eligible.